Hello one and all, Jasper here and welcome to the 7th episode of nitpicking all the changes made from the source material in House of the Dragon. Naturally, spoilers for this episode and possibly future episodes. Ready? Then let's get started. Skipping the funeral and mourning feast since nothing stuck out as contradictive, we see Corlys and Rhaenys in the Great Hall bring up the topic of inheritance and how it should be Laena's children who inherit Driftmark instead of Leonor or his quote-unquote kids. And her reasoning is simple. Those kids are obviously bastards. Now, Corlys needs a really damn good reason to continue supporting Rhaenyra, because honestly, he should be the most pissed out of anyone for this cucking. And what is his excuse?
History does not remember blood. It remembers names.
What the fuck are you talking about? This is like saying a boat floats because it looks up, but a stone sinks because it looks down. If names were so important to you, then why the fuck did you even agree to have your son wed Rhaenyra after Viserys said that once their asses are on the Iron Throne, they will be changed to Targaryen? That blows an entire motivational hole in him saying that names are what matter, not blood. Dear God, it would make more sense to say he's colorblind and so that's why he thinks they're legitimate. Skipping over the beach boat incest sex, we see Aemon sneaking out in order to mount Vhagar. He does this without being caught, however in the books Joffrey happened to be there, sneaking out himself in order to visit his own dragon, though in the show he is still a baby instead of a 3-year-old toddler, so it makes sense why he wouldn't be there in the show cut. Aemon flies around Driftmark, having quite the ball, but by the time he lands he is greeted by Jacaerys, Lucerys, and also Baela and Rhaena Targaryen. And for some reason, no adults. This is a criticism for both the books and the show. But how the hell did these little shits get here before any sort of guard? Are you going to tell me nobody heard or saw the dragon flying or even landing right where the funeral feast had taken place? Also, Baela and Rhaena saw Vhagar flying and thought, who would be best to let know? My father? Nah, he's out fucking my cousin. My grandfather? Nope, too senile like all the other adults who don't notice or hear the most powerful beast in the world. Let's go with my kid cousin. The books isn't any better, as it's only Rhaenyra's kids who are waiting for him, and they are armed with wooden swords, which they use to just straight up assault Aemon. I can only assume it was because he pushed Joffrey into some dragon ship before flying off. Being older and stronger than all of them though, he beats the piss out of them quite easily, until Lucerys draws his dagger and slashes his eye. At this moment, it was the stable boys who arrived and pulled them apart, not the Kingsguard. We then, in the next scene, get to see Viserys asking the same questions I had when this took place. And this is pretty book accurate, though I do question, why are there so many people here? Most of these fuckers should probably be in bed, and I don't think anyone would send for them to see the royal family in such a state. Oh, and there is one more little teeny tiny incident that actually didn't take place in the book. And it's when Allison snatches the king's dagger and uses it to try and take the prince's eye, and then gets into a physical confrontation with the princess. Yeah, this would have been written down if it happened. Also, real fast, what the fuck is up with this Kingsguard? These guys are incredibly shit at their job. They let the princess and the queen have this standoff for a minute and a half. Someone, anyone, should have come up from behind the queen, grabbed her wrist with the dagger, and pulled her away. Yet we see the Lord Commander not only order Sir Criston to not do anything, but Daemon gets in the way? This is stupid! Apparently you can get away with bitch slapping the royal family, but God forbid you restrain them. And now we get to the biggest of all changes in the series so far, the death of Leonor Valerion, or should I say, the lack of his death. Let's start with the show. Daemon and Rhaenyra organize a plan along with Leonor to fake his death so that Rhaenyra and Daemon would marry. Now, how this plan works is really dumb. The altercation takes place in the Hall of Driftmark, and we are to believe that when alone, they tossed the body of the poor bastard Daemon killed into the fire and got away without running into anyone? Dumb. Really, really dumb, but not impossible, I guess. This is revealed when the two get on the little rowboat and start heading all the way out to a distant ship. In the books, Leonor is killed by Sir Carl, stabbed to death while at a fair in Spicetown after an altercation or disagreement. A body was recovered, and since it wasn't set on fire, it was indeed Leonor. Now, the motivation of the death is up for debate. Septon Eustace writes that it was likely due to jealousy, as Leonor seemed to no longer be interested in Carl and had his eyes on a 16-year-old squire. Jesus Christ, these fucking books make me feel terrible. The other theory is told by Mushroom, that Damon paid Sir Carl to kill Leonor, but once Carl escaped and got onto a ship, Damon cut his throat and tossed him overboard. So, similar to what the show did, except, you know, both of them are still alive. I am very worried about the ramifications of this change because they can only take this two ways. Either Leonor dies later on, so saving him here was useless, or the writers have decided to remove Adam Hull and give his parts to Leonor, which, dear God, has the potential to fuck everything up unless it's done perfectly. And that's it for this episode. As usual, it's always fun to nitpick and point out all the little things that were not in the books removed or changed, but if you want my actual thoughts on the episode in regards to the story, pacing, and how it presents itself, then please, make sure to subscribe so you'll get notified when the next Hot D podcast comes out. I hope to see you all then, and with that, stay safe, and have a good night.